Excellent. We are so excited to be talking to the one, the only Candy O'Terry.
Oh my goodness, what's a girl to do when she gets an intro like that?
We're
I
so
guess I'll
excited.
just have to be exceptional. I don't know.
You are exceptional just by being you. And thank you just for taking the time to share your wisdom and everything that you've learned to inspire, encourage, and empower us in our daily life and business. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And congratulations to you and Melissa on the Women's Business League. I've watched it go from the acorn that is now the oak. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for being a supporter of us from day one, even when there was nothing to support. So thank you.
Well, I don't know about that. I think there was always stuff to be supportive about. So again, you guys should be super proud. So thank you for all you do for women everywhere.
Thank you. All right, let's get into it because women want to learn from you, Candy, as I've had the opportunity to. So, can you share a defining moment in your career that really shaped who you are today?
Well, it comes to mind immediately, and it's a funny story. I was the secretary to the program director at Magic 106.7. Let's all go back in the time machine to 1990, shall we? 1991. And we had a disc jockey with a terrible habit of falling asleep on the radio. And he fell asleep for the third time. My boss pulled him in, fired him on a Friday, and had nobody to put on the air that night for the overnight shift from midnight until 5 a.m. So I was packing up my things in my little cubicle, getting ready to go home to my two small children, when he tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You're on tonight." Now, this is the number one FM station in Boston. So it's not like screwing around and making mistakes in the middle of the night when you're way out in the boondocks. So I said, "Please don't make me." And he said, "You'll be great." When I got home, my dad agreed to take care of the kids overnight. And I can still remember how my body was shaking, Amy. And I was taking a handoff from the one and only David Allen Boucher. And so he's telling everyone, "And now, ladies and gentlemen, she's waiting out in the wings. Candy O'Terry will take you through the night." And I'm thinking, I'm going to get sick to my stomach in the studio. Well, I didn't talk for a couple of hours. I was so afraid all I did was play the music and the commercials until finally my boss called me on the hotline and said, "Excuse me, when are you going to talk?" And I said, "Well, I'm so scared." And he said, "You're going to be great." And I dropped to my knees. I said a quick prayer. I stood up. I turned on my microphone and I spoke the words that I was supposed to speak. And I ended up on the air for the next 25 years of my life. And that defining moment taught me that fear is our greatest enemy. Fear is the number one killer of confidence. And once we get past that fearful moment, the doors open wide.
Like, that is such an important message. And I love that story. I could just visualize you.
The shaking.
Okay, so fast forward to today. How do you define success? And, if that has shifted over time, talk a little bit about that and what success means to you.
Well, I have this little show called The Story Behind Her Success, which you and Melissa have been on a couple years ago. Got to get you on again. But at this moment in my career, which now goes, gee, I think I'm almost at 35 years, I've interviewed almost 1,000 women from every walk of life. First on Magic 106.7 with the Exceptional Women program for 23 years, and now this program for 10 years. And so the last question that I ask everyone who's on the show is, how do you define success? And then I also have come to believe that we live our lives, Amy, in chapters. And if I had asked you what success means to you 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you would have a very different definition. So you're asking me now, what does success mean to me? When I first got started, it meant checking every box, over delivering on every single thing that I did, working 7 days a week on 3 radio stations, trying to prove myself, my worth over and over and over again. And then, about 10 years in, it meant climbing the ladder and getting my stripes, getting more gravitas. Now, at this point in my life, it's more about legacy. It's more about what have I done that I can pass on to other women? What have I learned the hard way that I can pass on to other women? I believe the older we get, the more we look in the rear view mirror, the more we realize it's all about the impression we have left on this earth.
Wow. Oh, that is moving. I can just
Thank you.
feel your heart in that. Wow. Amazing.
Thank you.
Whew. I look up to you so much as a leader, both professionally and I've had the great opportunity to get to know you a little bit personally as well. And you embody so much of what it means to me to be a great leader, but I'd love to know from your perspective what truly makes a great leader.
I started doing speaker coaching about 7 years ago, and I have learned a lot from the women I've interviewed. And I've taken so much of that knowledge, women from every walk of life, and I've taken so much of that knowledge and I've brought it to my speaker coaching career. And when I'm out there coaching women mostly, they often will say to me, how do I get presence? How do I want to be a memorable leader? And so I've created something that I call my star power diagram. At the center of this diagram, picture a star. Picture a star in your mind. At the center of the star is the word competence, because I'm here to tell you, you cannot fake it till you make it. You either know how to do something or you don't. Can you do the job? That's competence. And then on those little, to the left and to the right, there are words like inspiring. Do you inspire others to give the best of who they are and what they can do? On the other side is the word trust. Because if people don't trust you, understand, trust is at the core of every relationship, whether it's personal or professional. Do you say what you mean and mean what you say? At the top of the star is vision. Do you have a vision of where you're going? And I think that overall, these are the parts and pieces that make up a great leader. And being memorable and having presence is a combination of all these attributes.
Love how you gave that visual. I can picture it in my mind. And you talked about that top of that star being, do you have a vision, right? What are you creating? And I know that so many women watching this are going to be thinking about their own ambitions, right? They're highly ambitious. They have a vision for where they're going. One common challenge for ambitious women is, how do you balance both, right? Your ambition, your goals, your drive with your personal life, your self-care, taking care of yourself. How do you hold those two things?
For me, that was very, very difficult because when I was rising in radio for about 22 of those 25 years, I was a single mother until my husband came into my life. One of the things I always say to my husband, Tom, is, where the hell were you? Because I did it all by myself. And so I didn't take as good care of myself as I probably should have. I was exhausted. And as I said earlier, I tried so hard because I had to. When you're in the entertainment business, there's always somebody behind you who would love to take your job. And so I look back on that, and the reward that I got beyond my success, which was clear and earned, was what I taught my daughter in the process. The richness and the gold there was she learned to take care of herself in a lot of ways. She learned to be the family cook. My daughter started cooking dinners when she was 10 years old. And let me tell you, she's the bossiest gourmet chef now you have ever met in your life. She wants nobody in her kitchen. She's like, Mom, watch and learn. Sit down, watch me. But she learned so much in the process. And of course, I was there for her when she needed me. But when I think about wellness, I think about the strength, the guidance, the sense of resilience that I gave to my children. My son is a special forces soldier. He's a triple alpha male. So I must have done something right there. But when I flash forward to now, my advice to women now is the older we get, the more critical it is for us to take care of ourselves. Why? Well, because we can't just slap a little makeup on, a little lip gloss, and look like $1,000,000. You got to get a good night's sleep. You got to drink plenty of water. All the things that matter. That's my wellness message to anybody listening: is the older we get, the more critical it is to take care of ourselves and listen to our bodies.
Very wise advice. Very wise. I see somebody, you talked a little bit earlier about how you're focused on your legacy. And from the outside looking in, I would say your legacy is supporting and uplifting other women. And I see you do that in so many different ways. But from your point of view and thinking about your life's work, how is it that you continue to support and uplift others?
It's my mission. It is my legacy. And every time I sit down with a woman, no matter where she's from, how big her success story has been, maybe she's at the very beginning, maybe she's in the middle, maybe she's a legacy type interview, but from whatever walk of life she has a story to tell. We all have stories to tell. And what I've learned from all these women is there's a beautiful thing about women in community. We love to tell our stories, and we love to tell them so that we can help one another not make the same mistakes we did. And at the end of every show, I always say, when we lift each other up, we all rise. That is, for me, the greatest gift that I can give, is to keep providing a platform for women to tell their stories. And if I can take some of the most inspiring things they say to me, like my 16 life lessons, and provide them to anybody who wants to have them, download them for free on candyoterry.com, or my breast cancer wisdom. Now I'm a survivor. Download my breast cancer wisdom. I just want to help you. There's no charge.
Amazing. Amazing. You do so much to help and uplift women. It's inspiring to me, and I think everybody who's in your world. So, is there anything else? I just want to give you the floor. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about anything you have coming up, or anything else that's on your heart that you want to inspire women? This is, Women's History Month, International Women's Day. The floor is yours, Candy.
My latest mantra has to do with slowing down to the speed of joy. I just wrote an article about it in this magazine that I write for called Pink Chair Storytellers. And by that, here's what I mean. We're going way too fast. We're trying way too hard. Think about it like a car ride. Let's say you're driving at 65, 70 miles an hour, and you've got your eye on the wheel, your eye on the road ahead of you, and your foot on the gas. That's a very different experience from taking a nice country ride on a back road you've never been on before. And you're doing about 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour, and there's that picket fence, and there's that old car, and there's that woman who's tending her flowers, and there's that little girl with a hula hoop. What a different experience that is. Let's all slow down, take a breath, and recognize we've got this one life, and it goes by very, very quickly.
Thank you so much.